question we want to ask here is, do we see Harari's Dataism as dystopian? And basically, that's the definition of dystopian is it's an imagined place in which everything is unpleasant or bad. So let's look at what he talks about when he talks about dataism itself. And we've taken this right out of the video on dataism, but he basically says that, that if you look at it, the way things move, they move from data to information to knowledge and to wisdom. And right now there's just too much data for humans. So we need the computer to help us. And all of our institutions will become data processing systems. That's the way that I kind of summarize it. Now, Habermas says that, basically Habermas warns us that the issue of systems has a downside to it in Habermas's view. And that downside is that they focus on performance, they focus on cost benefit, and they focus on efficiency. And so Habermas questions, where does the life world fit in, right? Where does the issue of meaning and values and ought, where does that come into the equation when we're looking at it? And if you look at, the Harari solution, which, basically talks about the fact that all the institutions are all built on, and all we are on algorithms, and algorithms are easier handled by the data processing, Habermas still says, well, where's the human resonance in this? And let's look at a cube that represents kind of all the different pieces, the flesh, the thought, and the emotion. And is the question then becomes, in my mind, because the thought and the flesh are handled, is the emotional side, can we just get the goals of the emotional side with just the logic with just the thought and the flesh, without also having the downside? So let's hold that thought for a moment and hold that aside. And let's look at something else. There's a change pattern that has become very popular in business. And we were able to identify kind of basically what the barriers and obstacles are, programs and solutions, and how they relate to performance and speed. And the goal was, how can we make new processes work without incurring violence? So the idea is, how can this happen without violence? And we came up with three major techniques for accomplishing a pretty substantial change without incurring violence. And the first one is you just kind of go around the vested interests, and the second one is where you just build something on the other side and hope that people adopt it. And the third one is where you come at them, but you come at them at an angle rather than straight on. So those were kind of three processes. And so again, let's hold those aside also. So now that's two things we're holding aside here. Let's look at Harari's other issue about uncoupling. And what he basically says is that biology has been uncoupled from culture. And so culture has been uncoupled from biology. So basically, do we still need to use the biological class system, order, family, genus, and species? Or in the cultural world, should we maybe have we can have hunter-gatherers, we can have authoritarians, we can have the liberal package, and we can possibly have this new goal of the dataism and dataism, and that just becomes an alternative. And so I don't see it as an imagined place in which everything is unpleasant or bad. I just see it as something that's different. It's just another alternative that we have in our bag of tricks as Homo sapiens.